Y'all remember in school when you probably learned about ancient Egypt was built by tens of thousands of half-starved slaves dragging giant stones while getting their ass whipped like they were in a bad Indiana Jones movie? Yeah, motivational ass whipping, very on brand. But the image, though, total myth. Turns out pyramid workers weren't slaves, they were tax-paying farmers drafted during flood season. Basically, ancient Egypt said, hey, crops are underwater, do you want to build a skyscraper? And of course, the workers were like, sure, but I want an extra lamb bone in my lunch break this time. I know. Interesting. We found villages with food, tools, even medical care. These guys were fed better than I was in college. And get this, they once went on strike because they didn't get their bread rations. I know. Isn't that funny? Even ancient unions didn't play. Ah, yes, the curse of the mummy. Open Tut's tomb and boom, death and doom. Probably a made-for-TV. But guess what? There was no curse in the tomb, just artifacts and probably a whole lot of dust. He actually died from an infected razor cut. Razor burn took him out, not a vengeful mummy. I know, beware the curse of the Gillette Mach 3. You've seen 300, right, where the Spartans swift kick the babies off the cliff like the NFL draft. He's got good calves but no six-pack. Maybe next time. Turns out that's mostly fiction. Plutarch wrote about that centuries later, so it's basically ancient fan fiction. No baby bones have been found, so either it didn't happen or Spartan babies were indestructible. Hollywood says that gladiators fought to the death, but in reality it was less murder arena and more ancient UFC. Gladiators were expensive investments, trained professionals. Like if a Peloton instructor had a sword, I yield and I also need a juice cleanse. Ever heard that Nero fiddled while Rome burned? Cute story, except for fiddles didn't exist. That's like saying Abraham Lincoln played the Xbox during the Civil War. Nero was actually out of town and rushed back to help, but after he blamed the Christians for the fire, they rewrote the whole narrative. Moral of the story, bad press lasts forever. The myth says that Aztecs thought Cortés was a god. Is that a god or just a really sweaty Spanish guy? No contemporary records say that Moctezuma called him a deity. That's just not divine. Spanish propaganda, aka ancient flexing. The 1929 stock market crash gets blamed for the Great Depression like pineapple gets blamed for ruining pizza. But the real culprits? Bad banking, overproduction, and way too much credit. Basically, the economy was a Jenga tower and the crash just pulled the wrong piece. And guess what finally fixed it? Not the market. It was World War II. Nothing like a global conflict to jumpstart your GDP. Kinda like what's happening now. So yeah, history isn't just dry dates and old dudes in sandals. It's full of myths that sound wild but fall apart faster than my diet on cheat day. You want me to debunk more? Drop a comment unless you still think Napoleon was short. He wasn't. Plot twist.